You're not half bad. You killed my father. Like father, like son.
Welcome to the motherfucker. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. In attendance for this past week's big MVP announcement and press conference was unbeaten up-and-comer Lyanna Cruz, who said, "I'm honored and grateful to be a part of MVPW, amongst some of the greatest fighters boxing has ever seen. Thank you, MVP, Nakisa Badarian, Jake Paul, and ESPN, for creating this opportunity for the ladies. To my young fighters, stay in the gym, double down on yourself, and stack your tiny wins. It's my proven formula for any success in this sport." Lyanna Cruz is a fighter that we've covered a good number of times here on the channel, all before she landed on MVP. Promising, though no amateur background, though. Surprising given how good she is and how well she knows her way around the ring, sporting a professional record of 11 wins with no losses and no draws, 1 recorded knockout. Last in action in June of last year opposite the ring, Regina Chavez, who she decisioned over 10 rounds in what was a hard-fought fight. Hard-fought is right, as Lyanna suffered a torn Achilles tendon that benched her for the remainder of the year in the process of securing that decision, though not before seeing action 2 times in the calendar year, once in January, then again in June. So in spite of the injury, the previous year was not a complete wash for Lyanna. She still managed to get things done. Now she's with MVP, and I don't think they signed her by accident. Not alongside Jasmine Artiga, her arch nemesis and current reigning WBA Super Flyweight champion. Superfly is where they both campaign. For those not familiar with these fighters and what the rift between them is, the WBA allowed Jasmine to leapfrog ahead of Lyanna Cruz, who at the time was the top-ranked contender, to fight for the WBA title, and Lyanna Cruz was none too pleased to see it. Jasmine got a title shot that should have went to Lyanna, but for whatever reason, the WBA allowed the shot to go to Jasmine. So now she's on Lyanna Cruz's hit list. And now they are both with MVP, though given the amount of time that Lyanna has been out of action, you don't just thrust her into a fight with Jasmine straight away. Lyanna needs a tune-up, an easy one. Coming off of that injury and the subsequent surgery that followed, Lyanna needs a tune-up fight. Now, MVP announced 2 cards in that press conference. The upcoming Baumgartner versus Bomire Shin fight set to go down in New York, and the upcoming rematch between Stephanie Hahn and Holly Holm in El Paso, Texas. I believe that Lyanna is going to end up fighting on one of those cards. Against the tune-up kind of opponent, I would give her at least 1 to 2 fights before making the fight with Jasmine Artiga, and one of those 2 fights, ideally, would be a fight against Natalie Delgado. Who the fuck is Natalie Delgado? The WBA's interim champion in the super flyweight division, and at least in theory, the mandatory challenger for Jasmine Artiga's title. The WBA have not ordered the fight between them yet, but if she holds that position as Jasmine's mandatory, it would be ideal to have Lyanna Cruz take care of her. Get her out the way. She's beatable. She's been beat 7 times already. It's a very good signing for MVP that keeps their foot in the door of the future for women's boxing, as Lyanna Cruz is young, unbeaten, and full of spice. Being in attendance at that press conference, I expect to see her back in action in the not-so-distant future on either the undercard for Baumgartner's fight or the undercard for Stephanie Hahn's fight. Look for the ring return of Lyanna Cruz later in the year. And super featherweight news, former champion Stephen Fulton wants an Emmanuel Navarrete fight, vows to become a 3-weight world champion. Some people don't believe he deserves a shot at the reigning WBO and IBF 130-pound champion Fulton. Might be a 2-weight world champion, but he didn't look like championship material in his last appearance. The Philadelphian came in 2 pounds overweight for his 130-pound WBC title fight against champion O'Shaquie Foster. This past December, Fulton fought listlessly and lost by unanimous decision. While he understands the doubters, Fulton believes that his track record warrants another shot on the big stage. "Y'all counted me out after my first loss, then I came back a champion," Fulton said on his X account. "Once again, y'all are counting me out after a loss. Just because someone loses doesn't mean they're done. It's boxing. You have bad days. But I am in a better space mentally, and I'm ready.
Vaquero fucks him up.
Oh yeah, he'd beat the shit out of Stephan. If you thought O'Shaquie Foster beat Stephan Emmanuel, he'd stop him. He'd knock him out. I've no doubts.
Yeah, well, Fulton says that while he's lost before, he lost and came back.
Now, the loss that Stephan Fulton is referring to came at the hands of Naoya Inoue. Fulton was dropped and stopped in the 8th round of their July 2023 bout, resulting in him losing his WBC and WBO super bantamweight titles. He would, however, go on to become a champion at 126 in 2025 after outpointing Brandon Figueroa for the second time. But while history is on his side, Navarrete has proven to be the man to beat at 130. The ring's #1 ranked junior lightweight made it look easy against Eduardo Nunez last weekend as he stopped his man in the 11th to become a unified champion. Ultimately, whether it's Navarrete or another one of the champions that gives him an opportunity, Fulton guarantees one thing: Navarrete versus Fulton, 3-weight world champion soon. Fulton continued, "Mark my words."
In becoming a unified champion the way that he did, Emmanuel Navarrete has fast become a marked man, because Stephan Fulton is not the only former champion who has set his sights on him. There is also Leigh Wood.
Emmanuel fucks him up too.
On February 21st, Wood brought his long-running rivalry with Josh Warrington to a definitive end. The two-time WBA featherweight champion has been involved in some of the most memorable fights in world boxing over the past 5 years, but in what many believed would be his final appearance, Wood boxed his way to a safe, smart decision over Warrington, who twice held the IBF title at featherweight. Throughout this fight's build-up, the 37-year-old repeatedly stressed that his sparring had been smoother and less taxing than usual, making it through a potentially damaging fight unscathed does seem to have persuaded him that he has one more big one left in him.
He wants that big one to be Emmanuel Navarrete.
I always say it's fight by fight, Wood told Talk Sport. That was one of my better performances, so to finish on that would be hard, because I'm flying, still on top of my game and performing well. My confidence is flying, experience is right up there, so yeah, I'd like to go again, but it needs to be the right opponent. I don't want to drop down. I'll see what offers I get and what's available. The landscape of boxing always changes, so we'll see who wins other fights as well. Those fights are coming thick and fast. The week after Wood's victory, Mexico's 3-weight world champion Emmanuel Navarrete pounded out an impressive 11th round stoppage of Eduardo Sugar Nunez in their IBF WBO junior lightweight unification match. The win secured Navarrete's position at #1 in the ring rankings for the currently vacant 130-pound strap. Next weekend, Wood's former rival, Anthony Cacace, challenges Jazza Dickens for the WBA super featherweight title. Given the opportunity to handpick his final opponent, Wood kept his answer short and sweet: Navarrete.
So Stephan Fulton wants to fight Vaquero, Leigh Wood wants to fight Vaquero, and so does Charlie Suarez, who still is his mandatory per that order from the WBO, that whoever won Navarrete versus Nunez would have to face Charlie Suarez immediately after.
I think he beats all three, so it doesn't really matter. Now that Emmanuel has a fitness coach and a nutritionist, you see the difference it made in how he performed. He was toned, muscular, not as soft in the body as he usually is. Having it all his way with Sugar Nunez, who is comparatively a younger man and a harder puncher than, say, Stephan Fulton, than, say, Leigh Wood.
I think Emmanuel would steamroll all of them. If you thought that O'Shaquie Foster beat Stephan Fulton bad, let Emmanuel get his hands on him. And Leigh Wood, if Leigh Wood does end up fighting Emmanuel, it's just gonna be the Bronco Lara fight all over again, but maybe worse.
Charlie Suarez.
Charlie Suarez turned out to be more formidable than perhaps Emmanuel Navarrete originally anticipated. But going into his second fight, now that he knows who he's dealing with a fitness coach and a nutritionist on his side, I think this time we're going to see a better Emmanuel. And I think this time he'll stop Charlie. He'll knock him out. And finally, the proposed April 25th exhibition match between Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson in the Congo is not happening as planned and is in jeopardy due to scheduling conflicts and a lack of confirmed venue. As if you didn't know that already. I mean, we're in March.
This was supposed to be going down next month. Told you I didn't think this was gonna happen.
While previously teased, World Boxing News and other reports indicate the fight has not been officially finalized, with potential issues surrounding the significant age and weight disparities. No April 25th date. The rumored April 25th date is officially off. Location issues. The Congo venue is in doubt, and no alternative site is currently confirmed. Conflict with schedule. World Boxing News reports that a June fight for Mayweather in Greece further complicates the timeline.
Now think about it. Why would a fight with little-known Mike Zambidis get in the way of a fight with a bigger name in Mike Tyson? Well, it could be because at least with Zambidis, you know who's paying you. You know where the money is coming from. Whereas with Mike, I've long maintained that that fight had no financier. What they were hoping was, if they officially announce it, they can then shop it around to a major broadcaster who would then put up the money, though not attracting one.
No money, no fight.
And thus, the Mike Tyson fight doesn't look to be happening, and whatever Floyd stood to make from that, the saving grace for him is that the Pacquiao fight is on, and Floyd Mayweather is now set to undergo an examination for the rematch as conditions for the return are set.
The bout is expected to count on both legendary fighters' professional records despite their ages. It will see the American risk his perfect 50-0 resume, having announced his intention to move away from full retirement. Ultimately, the showdown is expected to receive professional sanctioning to go ahead. Despite Mayweather having not fought competitively since 2017, he is now 49 years old, and it is understood that he will need to undergo checks to ensure he can be licensed for the bout. And he will.
Just think about it. Somewhere out there, a commission has actually approved Oliver McCall, who's in his 60s, to keep fighting. Very recently, Ika Ibuchi.
He's 53 years old, and somewhere out there, a commission has actually been licensing him to box. So if they can get a license, Floyd can get a license.
Sources close to Mayweather told Boxing Scene that it should be easy work for him to achieve sanctioning for his ring return. But I don't think you needed to be close to Floyd Mayweather to see that one coming, and that is because he remains in the gym and working out year-round despite not throwing a professional punch since beating Conor McGregor in 2017. It is understood he will undergo a light examination to ensure he is medically and physically cleared to enter the ring again. They could well involve watching any sparring he undertakes in the build-up to the September clash. Eyes will likely also be on his exhibition clash with Mike Zambidis, which is set to take place before the meeting with Manny. It is expected that any hurdles in the way will quickly be vaulted over to get the commercial blockbuster over the line.
Blockbuster is right. I've said it many times before, I'll say it here and now again. If they were billing this as a pay-per-view, this rematch would not do what their initial meeting did, but because it's being carried by Netflix, that changes things.
Everybody's gonna watch this thing, whether they're excited about it or not. Both talented operators have rarely competed professionally in recent years, largely fighting in lucrative exhibitions, but Pacquiao's successful professional comeback last year culminated in a draw with Mario Barrios in a world title fight as he rolled back the years. He has regularly pleaded with Mayweather for a sequel in a desperate attempt to fight for revenge in the present day. Originally, Money was not interested in early negotiations, requested that the bout not count towards their official records. But the Filipino turned down that request and wanted more at stake. He said, before, he wanted an exhibition to fight against me, but I disagreed, and I didn't want to fight with exhibition rules. I want to fight a real fight. So this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. It just happened that I'm still active in boxing, and he came out of retirement to do it again. So this is it!
What are the odds that Manny Pacquiao at this age, so many years removed from his prime, can avenge the loss to Floyd Mayweather, who is some years older than Manny? Very recently, former unified two-weight world champion and Hall of Fame inductee Andre Ward mulled over the particulars and the potentiality of the fight's outcome.
Two older guys are going to be boring. I look at it a little bit different. Two older guys sometimes, because they don't have the energy and the legs to be moving as much, and the reflexes aren't as sharp. They're a little bit dull. These guys are still very, very good, but when you put them together at their age, given their history, and given the fact that I don't think Floyd's going to have the energy to move the way that he did before. You could get a more entertaining fight. You can get more of a back and forth scrap, which is what a lot of people wanted. And it's not a guarantee that this fight goes the distance, given these guys' age and where their punch resistance are, where their current punch resistance is. And you don't know. At 40-some years of age, late 40s, you don't know how you're going to take a clean shot with an 8-ounce glove. You think you know, but you don't fully know. So the Floyd Mayweather return is bittersweet for me. I don't mind Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. But if
All very salient points made by Andre Ward, because one thing we do know with some certainty is that this wasn't Floyd Mayweather's first choice. This isn't something that he necessarily wanted, to come back to the paid ranks, the professional ranks, to give Manny Pacquiao a rematch. The only real reason you would do that and entertain him is because you need the money.
We all know what's going on. Floyd has always had this rematch in his back pocket, and up until recently, it was a non-starter. Running it back with Manny? For what? Well, now we know for what, because you need the dough.
And he wants revenge. The difference between you is he's actually been fighting professionally. Well, you haven't. The way Floyd Mayweather was able to beat Manny Pacquiao in their initial meeting over a decade ago was speed and reflexes, timing Manny Pacquiao's entry into the pocket and countering him as he's coming in order to disarm him and control the pace and the space at which the fight was being fought. Floyd was a much younger man, though.
Andre Ward's points ring true. Can he still do that now at 49, damn near 50 years old? Because if he can't, then there is room for things to get interesting. The most exciting thing that could come out of this fight is Manny winning.
Not saying that I have a rooting interest in him, but the aesthetic of their initial meeting left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. People don't actually want a repeat of the first fight, the first performance, I should say, now that they're older and slower.
More hittable.
Well, just imagine the crowd's reaction to Manny Pacquiao landing consecutive punches on a 49-year-old Mayweather, who doesn't have his legs under him the same way that he used to. His speed and reflexes long diminished by the ravages of time that catches up to all of us. That having this fight,
the most exciting thing that could happen, that would turn the boxing world on its head, upside down, is if Manny actually does get his revenge.
Because we all know what Floyd Mayweather's O has meant to him for the entirety of his career. The mythos surrounding him and his unbeaten record and all the money he made would effectively be dispelled now that we know that most of that money, if not all of that money, is gone, and if his O goes with it?
Holy shit!
We know the mob is fickle. The same people that have been putting Floyd Mayweather on a pedestal for all these years due to his business savvy and his unblemished record would cease to do so quickly if Manny gets his revenge. Quickly be discarded like so many styrofoam containers containing so much chicken chow mein from the local Chinese food store.
What?
That people would stop bringing up Floyd Mayweather as a point of pride and to prove a point if everything he prided himself on evaporates. His money, his unblemished record. There's a lot on the line in this fight, believe it or not. Has Floyd Mayweather still got it?